Everyone has a right to housing in our constitution. So that means it doesn't matter if you are a child, if you are a foreigner, everyone has a right. The question is, who must give you that right? Who must give you that house? And the answer is the state. But the state's duty to provide you with a house in the constitution is limited to the money it has. So you cannot just go to your local municipality and say, give me a house now. You can apply, and then you will have to wait until the state has money, until it's your turn to get a house. There are many different government housing programs. So that's one thing what we must keep in mind. Today we are focusing on government subsidized housing. So that is when you get a permanent house from the state and it becomes yours. Now, when we look at all of the other programs, they've got different requirements. We will only focus on that program where it becomes your house. There are certain requirements when we look at that program. The first is you must be a South African citizen or you must have permanent residency. The second is you must be able to contract. So that means basically for most of us, you must be 18 years old. The third, you must never have benefited from a government housing program before. So you mustn't have gotten a house before. The fourth one, you must not have owned a house before or own a house now. And then you must either be married or cohabiting with someone, or you must have financial independence like children or elderly parents or something like that. And then the final one, you must earn below a certain amount. Now that can change, so I'm not going to make specifications here. You will have to find out from your housing office. What you must keep in mind is that if you do not qualify for, if you've listened to this now and you didn't qualify for a house because you don't meet one or more of those criteria, keep in mind that they are sometimes flexible. There might be exceptions, like if you are disabled, for example, and also that there are other programs. So if you cannot get a house in terms of this program, it doesn't mean that you cannot get a house at all in terms of any program. This program also caters for other kinds of housing, like just getting a plot and you must build your own house, and then there are other requirements for that. So different people can get houses in terms of different programs depending on what you earn and who you are and your circumstances. You can apply for a house in terms of this program by going to your local housing office. So either the municipal housing program office or the provincial housing office. And if you don't know where that is, you can go to your local ward councillor and ask them, or you can go to any municipal offices and they can direct you. There is also an online way of applying. So there is a national website that you can use, and maybe your province or your municipality also has a website that you can go to register. So the easiest way to get access to that is to Google how to register for housing in South Africa and then go from there. You can wait quite a while to get allocated a house after you've applied. So sometimes it can be a few years and it can be even up to 20 or more years. So you must, if you are interested in applying for the house, you must do so as soon as possible. You must also remember that because it takes so long, keep your registration form, and if any of your details change, go to the offices when you applied or go online if you applied online and change your details, update it. And then you can also go to the offices or where you applied online to see what the status is if you are unsure of what is going on. When you are allocated this house, the idea is that you become the owner of the house. So you will have the same duties and the same rights that the owner has. The difference is, in terms of this program, in the first 8 years, you are not allowed to sell and you are not allowed to rent out the property. If you die in that first 8 years, your family should be able to inherit the property, but it might be a bit more difficult for them to get that. After the 8 years, you should get your title deed and you should be like any other owner. Obviously, the municipality or the state can write limitations into your title deed, but if that's not the case, then you would be able to sell the property or rent it out. What you must keep in mind is if you want to sell your property, you must do it properly. So you must go through to a lawyer or to the legal aid clinic and get someone to help you to understand how you transfer that property. It's not as simple as getting money and giving someone the title deed. You must also know that if you sell your property, you cannot get another house from the state again. So you are closing that door for yourself. And then the last thing that you must keep in mind is you will want to maybe let someone inherit the property. So get a will. Go and get a will drafted so that you can leave the property to the person you want to have live in the property. For example, if you've got 2 kids living in the house with you, but one older kid that has their own family, if you don't have a will, the property will go to all of them, and they would probably have to sell the property so that everyone can get their share. But if you have a will, you can say that child will get this, and these kids will get the house, and it just simplifies it for everyone. If you are a child or someone who has inherited such a house, remember that there is a specific procedure to get the property in your name. So don't just say, great, I've inherited the property, now it's mine. Make sure that legally the property is actually yours. If you have any legal advice questions, if you want any legal advice or you want to draft that will or transfer the property, the best is to go to your local law clinic. So that would be a clinic where they give advice to people that is attached to a university. So any university or most universities that have a law faculty will have a law clinic and they can assist you, or you can go to Legal Aid South Africa.